Hey, it's Auntie Drof with another story for you. Christmas at the Red Inn by Eleanor Scott. It was getting dark on the evening of December the 24th when along a quiet road a dilapidated old coach came rumbling noisily. If one had looked inside, they would have seen a pretty young mother with two eager and restless children, a fat, grumbly old lady, a young man, evidently the husband of the pretty young mother, a quiet, timid girl of about 18, and the delightfully jolly-looking, ruddy old gentleman. Really, this must be a disgraceful old coach I've ever been in. It will be the death of me, jolting every bone in my body this way, said the old fat woman, in aggrieved and angry tones. She addressed no one in particular, but the jolly old gentleman spoke up. Really, my dear madam, he said with a beaming smile, overspreading his ruddy complexion. I think it's rather jolly than otherwise. Every lurch jolts just more Christmas into my bones. Before the old lady had time to answer, there was a crash and several loud shrieks as the coach turned directly over. Oh, I'm dead! I'm dead! Wailed the old lady, as somehow or other they were all helped out of the ruins. Pardon me, madam, but I think you're very much alive, said the old gentleman, helping her to her feet. Oh, we are all a bit shaken up, said the driver suddenly, but none's hurt. The question is how are we going any further? The coach is done for. Is there no place nearby here where we can stop over for the night? Said the old gentleman. Oh, the Red Inn is a little piece up the road, and is a right cozy little place, but you can't get to your folks for Christmas, 'cause the landlord has hired out his coach for 2 or 3 days, and the only thing for that sort around here, said the driver, replied. Well, well, we could send messages to them by someone on horseback, and we can try and have a Merry Christmas at the Red Inn, said the old gentleman, but his ruddy face fell, and everyone looked visibly cross and disappointed. This was the only thing to do, however, and soon they were all comfortably established in the cozy little Red Inn. On Christmas morning, as everyone came downstairs, they were greeted with "Merry Christmas" from the jolly old gentleman who sat in the hall by a roaring log fire. When all were downstairs, the landlord threw open the dining room doors and revealed a cheerful room, decked in holly, and a long table where before each plate was a stack of bundles. The night before, everyone had searched their belongings and had found some little present for each inmate of the Red Inn. A merry time was spent as the packages were untied and presents revealed. After breakfast, the landlord drew chairs around the blazing sitting room fire and brought in some candies and nuts and fruits in abundance for his guests, who by this time were getting quite friendly. The landlord had introduced the jolly old gentleman as Mr. Holston, the old lady as Miss Bentley, the timid young girl as Miss Davidge, and the rest as Mr. Kent, Mrs. Kent, Jack and Elsie Kent. These, with the exception of the landlord, Mr. Brown, and his wife and little girl, were the only inmates at the inn. Later in the day the landlord came in and told all to follow him. He led them to a door, and as he opened it a shout of delight resounded through the room as the children rushed into view more closely the gorgeous tree, which rose to the noble height in the centre of the room, and on which ornaments glittered in the soft candlelight. Little holly and red ribbon beckoned packages hung from its branches, and Mr. Holston, attired in a red costume which he said he had borrowed from Santa Claus especially for this occasion, and looking enough like that jolly saint to be his brother, stood in the miniature chimney and gave a package to each person, and much merriment ensued in looking at the little gifts they contained. After they were tired of looking at the tree, they all went into the dining room, where an abundant Christmas dinner was spread. After dinner, they went back to the sitting room and sang Christmas carols and made generally merry. And it was late when the parties finally broke up and went to their rooms, each and all declaring that never had they spent a merry Christmas.